Hi everyone, welcome back to the next diecast. In today's video, I'll be unboxing and doing a quick review on this 124 scale Mercedes-Benz SLK230 made by Maisto. Got this model off of eBay. The order was $16 in total. That included the shipping and everything. This is an older model, as you can see in the older box. They have the sticker on here, exclusive manufacturer for the Mercedes-Benz SLK230, which is kind of cool. Pretty much their standard black box they were using for all their models back in like the mid to late 90s into the early 2000s. There's kind of a diagram of the model on the back with all the opening features and everything. And then on the bottom here you have a second diagram that points to what all the features are and everything. So you have opening doors, opening hood, and whatnot. So I'll go ahead and get this out of the box. All right, here's the model out of the box. Next, we'll have to take it off its base and remove the shipping straps that are on it. All right, got it off the base. Now we just got to take off these straps on here. Looks like they're held on with some tape. All right, and here is the SLK. You have the opening trunk. Hang on a sec. There we go. Opening hood and opening doors. Looks like a cool model here. All right, let's take a closer look at the SLK here. It's a pretty well detailed model, I would say, for the most part. Kind of typical of, 1990s Maisto models. Maisto no longer makes this SLK in their 1/24th scale line. They did make it for quite some time in several colors. You could find it in this yellow, silver, and also a red. This is based off the 1997 model of the real car, but we'll go ahead and take a look at the details of the model here. So in the front, you have really good detailing with these headlights here. They're separately cast plastic pieces. They have a nice texture on the lenses. Kind of a big gap on this side here, but I don't think that's a big deal. And you have a nice separately cast grille piece in the center here, along with a three-pointed star badge, which looks like a separate piece too, but it's actually molded into the grille as kind of a three-dimensional effect. Then you have a three-pointed star sticker above this badge. A little bit too large, I think, for the car, but at least Maisto does include that on there. And it is a sticker, as I said, but I don't think that's a big deal. Then you have this license plate down here too. The paint job on this model was actually very well done. A lot of Maisto's models from the 1990s have like orange peel and stuff on their paints, but on this model you don't really see that anywhere really. There's like a small little scuff here and there, but aside from that, the orange peel, you just don't see it. Maybe this is just an exception. Maybe other versions of this model had the orange peel. Well, actually, there's a tiny bit above the door handle, but it's barely noticeable. So I wouldn't even consider that to be a problem for the model here. The wheels are well done. They are a bit like too far up into the wheel wells, I think, and there's no way to really kind of bend them downward. And you do actually have steering on this model, which is a characteristic of older Maisto 1/24th scale models. But the wheels don't stay straight when you try to make them straight. They're just kind of turned this direction. And then when you try to turn them back, they stay a little bit, but not really. I'm sure doing this many times will kind of correct the problem. And I could always, I guess, take apart the model and try to fix the steering, but it's not a big deal, I don't think. The wheels do bow out in the rear a slight bit. I'm not really sure why that is. You should see more of the tire up top there. It's actually too low, or too, I guess, high up into the wheel well. Aside from that, you do have branded tires. These come with Goodyear tires on them, kind of like the 1/18 scale version of the model. The rim look is different from the 1/18 scale model, and Maisto does do a good job with the overall look and shape of the rims on this 1/24th scale version. You have kind of that molded in badge in the middle, and also there's different lug nuts on there too. These are the 7-spoke rims that the 97 model came standard with. And you have separate pieces for these door handles too, which is nice to say. Pretty sizable gap between the windshield and the door. You can actually see into the interior in some spots, but if you get a darker color of this car, you probably won't even see that. And you have a nicely done compressor badge on the side there. Taking a look at the back, decent looking taillights. There is just an obvious peg in each one, kind of disappointing. And this lens does pop out a slight bit over here. You see there's kind of a gap there, but not a big deal. At least they're separately cast taillights. Some of Maisto's 124 scale cars have painted on taillights, which look really bad. But on here, at least they do go to the trouble of having them as separately cast plastic pieces. And you got the Mercedes-Benz badge there and the SLK230 badge on that side. On this model, you do actually have an opening trunk. You don't see that anymore on Maisto's 124 scale models, so because this was made in the 90s, you do have that feature. Not too much to see in the trunk, however. Ideally, the folded back top would be somewhere here, but instead Maisto just puts a kind of a plastic block there to, I guess, accommodate these two door hinges. The 1/18 scale version of their Mercedes SLK from 96 does have the working top on some versions, and if they don't have the working top, you have a full-size trunk. But in here, the trunk, at least in this section, it's mostly accurate, but I mean, you have some areas here where it's just bare metal, and then you have this kind of just plastic block here. I guess they were trying to save on costs and everything. I wish they had made at least these big holes here smaller where the dog legs are. But I mean, yeah, not really too much else to mention in here. I mean, they do include the wheel well sections in plastic, I guess, but an odd trunk. I wish they had at least excluded this plastic block or included maybe just a plastic piece to represent the folded-in roof or something, but they don't really include that in here. It's just kind of a really almost too deep of a trunk. But at least the trunk opens. I will give them that. You also have an opening hood here. Engine is decent, but it should not be all silver like this. They do at least accurately mold the center, like the center block here, with that Mercedes-Benz badge and the Mercedes-Benz inscription back there, but it's just all silver. It should not be all silver. The 1/18 scale version has a much better detailed engine bay. At least they did try in here, I guess, but at least I would have liked to see maybe the same plastic piece, but have more coloring on it. It is just one single plastic piece, which is fine, because most of Maisto's 124 scale models have that sort of feature. I just wish they maybe did some different coloring here and there. I've never actually seen an all-silver Maisto engine before on a 124 scale model. Very weird, but could use a bit more detailing, but I guess it's all right for a 124 scale car. And of course, you do have opening doors on the model, which open up on dogleg hinges. Very wide opening, which is nice to see. It's very easy to see on the interior here. And they do a pretty good job. As you can see here, although the center stack, the buttons are not colored in, they're all accurately molded and whatnot. And you have all the different textures, like you have this kind of nice insert texture on the seats. You have actually like a floor mat molded into the floor on this side that says SLK on it. That's super, super cool. You have a different texture for the dashboard and the steering wheel, which even has the SRS airbag symbol underneath the Mercedes-Benz badge. So all these details are there and all the textures. You just don't see that much color in here. And I think that's all right, because this is a model from the 90s, so not everything's going to be there in terms of detailing. And the seats are very well done too. As I said, you have the two different textures going on there. They do fold a slight bit, which is also cool to see. And on the door panels too, very well detailed. You have kind of a texture going on the perimeter and sort of that like map pocket texture down there too. So for an earlier 124 scale Maisto model, I think the effort that they put into this is actually fairly well done. You do have those quality issues like the weird inside of the trunk and kind of these gaps throughout, but aside from that, I mean, not that bad. So if you can find this model for a good price, I would say definitely get it. If you collect Mercedes-Benz models or just 1990s, roadsters and everything, I think it would fit well in your 124 scale collection. As always, feel free to comment down below with your thoughts on the model here, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.